What's up, people? It's another edition of the New Breed Podcast, the world's best new metal adjacent new metal podcast, or whatever you want to call it, from two dudes who are really there. One half of your hosting duo, Jay Horskow. With me, I have my partner in crime, the notorious TIM Tim Anderson Jr. Tim, how's it going?
Awesome. I
We're,
mean,
we're
I'm drinking Stoli vodka because we got a bottle, and that's not good.
no, I need to get a beer. I should probably stop drinking water. All right, so we'll let Tim vamp while I go get a drink. But what are we talking about this week, everybody? Well, we're going to do something a little bit different this episode. This episode, we're going to do a deep dive into a year. So we're going to talk about the year of 1994. This
Let's start off why we're doing it this way.
why we're starting off with 94.
Yes. So you said you have to go get a drink.
Yeah, I got to get a beer. So you vamp, I'll go get a beer.
Right. So we came up with this idea where, if you think about it, new metal what starts in 1994 with Korn. So I said to Jay, if we start if we start talking about a year in review of heavy metal, we could start at 1994 because we started as a new metal podcast. So why not start the years in 1994 and go from there? So I kind of thought it made sense. New metal starts in 94. Let's start in 94, but we'll talk about the entire genre. And then the next episode we'll do 95. So basically we start in 94, we end in 2025. So we'll get how many episodes out of that? What is that? 31.
25, yeah, 25, 30, 31, yeah.
So we'll get 31 episodes just talking about year in review of metal. And I think that's a badass thing that I've never seen anyone do this.
No, no. And we're going to touch on, we're not just going to talk about new metal. We're going to talk about what's dying, what's on its way up, some of the other notable releases of that time, and us being around during this, well, this year, for example, right? This is the end of my sophomore year, the beginning of the end of my junior year, the beginning of my senior year of high school.
Yeah.
That this is a fun chat to have because we were around for this. So it's not like we're looking back on Led Zeppelin in the 70s and what it was like when The Wall came out. Like
Yeah.
we were around for this. It's
To,
contemporary.
to make it more interesting, I graduated in 2001. So I
Jeez.
started high school in 97. So I was in middle school in 90.
Jeez, you were still pushing a skateboard. I was pushing a 86 Caprice Classic with a dent in the front end.
Yeah.
Man,
So that's cool.
that's wild. That's wild. All right, so let's dive in, right? So 1994, what does 1994 look like commercially, right? In the music world. And so at this point in 94, grunge is ascendant, right? Nirvana killed off the hair metal. And I think that, I mean, we covered this in a previous episode, right? Will we even have new metal if Kurt Cobain didn't kill himself in April of 94? And I think you and I remember we talked about this and we said
Yeah.
probably not.
Yeah, and it's funny because when we did the research for this, it kind of touches on that a little bit like, hey, you know, with the importance of Nirvana and blah 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 blah, it kind of shaped what happened in the year of 1994.
Right, right.
So
That's a great point. So April of 94 is when Kurt Cobain kills himself. Do you remember where you were when you found out, Tim? Or were you even aware of
um,
music at that point at the time?
oh
Like,
hell yeah. Yeah. That's one thing about me is I've been digging music. I mean, we've talked about this in the early years of this. Like my dad was always a music head, so I was always around music. But yeah, I was listening to Nine Inch Nails, Manson, all that shit in '94, even in middle school. I mean, everybody in middle school had like their Jan Sports and it would have like patches on the back, or like
mm-hmm.
you would get like a fucking gold marker and like write the band in there as cool as you could. You know what I
Yep,
mean?
yep.
Like all of your binders would have like bands on it and stuff. That's what
Mm-hmm.
back then. But yeah, I was definitely listening to all this stuff in
I,
'94.
I actually specifically remember I was in a sporting goods store in Annapolis, Maryland. I was on a band trip, and me and all my friends happened to walk into this store to just like we were walking around. We were killing time in Annapolis because the trip was like Virginia and Busch Gardens or whatever. And it came in over the radio. The guy was listening to the radio behind the counter, and I remember my one buddy Alex turns to my other friend and goes, "Well, I guess we're never going to see them in concert." And then my ears perked up, and I went, "Oh shit!" But yeah, April '94. So that was he was the grunge icon. Like when you said grunge, that's what you looked at, and they were they were right at the peak of them blowing up and going completely insane, and then he kills himself. And I definitely think that put massive shockwaves through the commercial side of radio, because back then at this point you were still selling CDs. It was still a CD marketplace. And what were these
No,
labels going to do? What they bought all this, they had all this shit that they had to release. So like in '94, Super Unknown by Soundgarden is still big. Purple, which is I think that was the second album, right? From
yeah.
Stone Temple Pilots, second or third?
Purple's the second one.
Second, because the third was Songs from the Vatican's Gift Shop, right? Yeah, yeah. Then it was four. Yes, yes.
Yeah, it was Core then Purple. Yeah,
Yes. So this stuff is still going, but these are bands like, let's be honest here, Soundgarden and Stone Temple Pilots are the outlier. They are the grunge bands that they still have a massive, massive following because of how amazing they were.
no,
Um,
Core is a amazing record.
yes, you know what? I went the STP greatest hits. I go back to that frequently. Well, that Soundgarden, Pearl Jam, and Alice in Chains. I go back to those their greatest hits collections all the time. So again, you have Kurt Cobain dies in April, which is in the early spring of '94, and then it's starting to change. And you would think that maybe we'd go back to hair metal, or maybe we'd do something. Oh, excuse me, a little bit heavy. But the funnily enough, the bands that seem to get a nod is when Kurt dies, it creates a vacuum. And now these labels are trying to find the next big thing or trying to find something that they could, for lack of a better term, exploit. And Dookie takes off, right?
Oh,
Like Green Day had taken off at that point, but they started to get way more attention. The Offspring,
Offspring, yeah,
right? Even Oasis,
great record.
yeah, Oasis even, right? So now that I think the record labels are starting to say to themselves, "Hey, we're coming out of grunge and alternative. Let's start looking at some different things and let's figure out where we can make a dollar next."
They figured it out.
Oh, they definitely figured it out. But I don't think, Tim, I don't think it's fair for us to talk about grunge and Kurt Cobain and all this sort of stuff without acknowledging what did grunge kill. And what they killed was
Hair metal.
hair metal.
Yep.
They killed it dead, buried, exhumed the corpse just to bury it again, right? Like, I mean, it, and I think it was because it was kind of looked at as cheesy by that point and inauthentic, right? You had Kurt Cobain singing about it being angry and all the grunge stuff, Pearl Jam, but at the same time, when you think about what killed hair metal, the same thing killed new metal, right? It's market saturation. It's the failure to innovate, right? When your third wave bands are ripping off the first wave bands, and the first wave bands are still out and playing and touring, you're pumping a well that's already going dry. So I think the failure to innovate, plus you're just you're oversaturating the market. That's kind of what happens.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's the same thing like you're talking about hair metal. At that time, it was what third, fourth wave hair metal.
Oh, it was. Oh my God, it was the Columbia House years, right? White Lion, Trickster, Kicks, like Slaughter.
Yeah, garbage.
Ugly Kid Joe. God, get me out of here. So shout out to Ian Karabi. But at this point, Motley Crue, in was it '94, they released their self-titled album with John Karabi, Ian's dad, as singer. This was Vince leaving. This was them trying to be a little bit more tough and be more aggressive, get them past the whole hair metal glam type shit. What people don't
That record
realize,
called?
it was self-titled.
Oh yeah, yeah, okay.
The one after it was Generation Swine, where they had the
That's what I'm thinking of. Yeah,
pigs masks. Yeah.
yeah.
So, funnily enough, the album debuts in the Billboard number 7, Billboard 200 number 7, and it went gold, which fast, which is 500,000 units. Which you and I selling a gold record would be like, holy shit, that's awesome, right? But this is a band who came off the multi-platinum Dr. Feelgood, right?
Yeah. So
And
that's
the
a
platinum House of Pain, Theater of Pain, or whatever it was. Yeah,
so that's a failure.
that's a big, big failure. And for them, it's a drop off. It's a drop off. And I definitely think that contributed to some of the internal strife that led to Vince leaving. And also, I mean, can we be honest, Tim? Can we get those guys? Like, we need to sign a petition to stop touring. Like, Trump is busy sending out ICE to round up people who are illegally. We should send out ICE to round up some of these bands that are still touring that should not be on the road anymore, right? Like,
Um,
get Motley Crue
was
off the stage.
Guns N' Roses.
Like, I mean, when your first 2, 3 comeback years, you're solid, you're in shape, your pipes are working, it's great. But when you have Vince Neil out of shape, going have a hoo, come on, man.
And did you think that no engineer was ever gonna fucking isolate your vocals to let everyone hear how terrible it is?
Besides the fact, I mean, look, I get it. Like, we would get drunk and we would go and we would sing along and we'd have a good time. But come on, man. Come on, man.
The Axel's vocals these days are
Dude,
brutal,
rough,
rough.
rough.
It's hilarious. Yeah, I remember somebody isolated them, and I was fucking howling at how funny that shit
Oh,
was.
it's brutal. It's brutal.
And then at the end of it, they hand him, here's a check for 300K. I don't blame him.
Yeah, I would do it too, right? Like, I'm sure poor Vince Neil. Vince Neil topped out when he had that sex tape with Janine. So we're talking the mid '90s, right? Cobain's gone. New kind of weird stuff's coming out. Hair metal and glam metal is on its way out. So you still have like thrash bands are out there, but it's very, very, very underground. So at this point, the record labels are like, fuck it. We either got to try something really polished and new, kind of hybrid, kind of different, or we just got to go back to the not sold out purity of just the extremely underground shit. That, I mean, it's you want to try to make that big. It's hit or miss. It's hit or miss.
Yeah, I mean,
So
I agree.
I mean, I don't blame the
I
labels,
kind of
but
lost my train of thought, but I was gonna go to what I was gonna say is I agree. So
so let's talk about 3 albums that came out in '94, right? We talked about Motley Crue, right? Topped at number 7, Billboard 200. It was gold. And really, at this point, that I think that album going gold, while normal bands will find that successful, that's the nail in that coffin.
oh yeah,
Bonk, it's done. It's done. On the other side of that, Pantera releases Far Beyond Driven. Billboard #1 goes gold. And they were truly one of those odd bands, a lot like a Knocked Loose, where, you know, Cowboys from Hell had some singing points. It had some Bill had some attempts at singing, right? Cemetery Gates I can't listen to anymore because that high note is God. But
oh my
they went
god,
from Cemetery, they went from Cowboys from Hell to Far Beyond not Far Beyond Driven, Vulgar Display of Power. And there was some singing in there, right? There was some. And then they basically just went, well, fuck it. We're going all in. And they went completely abrasive and aggressive. And Billboard debuts Billboard 200, #1, no videos, no radio play.
love it.
So it shows you that they had in view to the greater context, it's actually an aberration at the time, but it shows that, their fans are here and they're showing up for it. And I mean, I'm sorry, that album is a well written album. Regardless if you like Pantera or not, you could listen to each one of those songs and say the composition is perfect. Perfect.
You know what I always thought about Far Beyond and all that them two records and Vulgar. If you were to re-record, all right, say Dime and Vinny are alive right now, and you were to re-record them albums with today's technology, not saying that them records sound bad, but for some reason, them records, there's some like flatness to them that I don't like.
Mm,
But
I I can see that with Vulgar. I can't see that
yeah,
with Far Beyond Driven because it was so
it's
forward. It's like push forward. Yeah.
yeah. Don't get me wrong, the distortion and the tones are great. It's just something about them records that are a little flat. Anyway, if you're to re-record them records with today's technology and all that stuff, how do
They're
you think it would be the same band?
I think they would. I think they would be the same band. However, I don't think most sound systems would be able to handle it. Like there'd be
Yeah.
cars on the side of the road with blown out speakers, right? And the dude would be lying there like this with the Far Beyond Driven like
Oh
case
yeah,
on
yeah,
his
yeah.
cover. It would not be good. It would not be good. But so let's talk about that, right? So this is, I mean, groove metal, what people love to call Pantera groove metal. It's just fucking heavy metal. That's fine.
Yeah, it's fucking heavy metal.
There's another band that releases a debut album in 1990. Releases a debut album 1994. Same vein. carving their own, same kind of vein, but carving their own path. Machine Head puts out
Oh
Burn My
yeah,
Eyes
yeah, that's
in
right.
'94. So you got Pantera, and then you got Machine Head, and I would argue that for they went from Burn My Eyes, like kind of Pantera worshiping type stuff. Although I will say this, Chris Contos is an amazing drummer. Like they sounded fantastic.
Yeah.
But they went from this to The More Things Change, which inadvertently was them moving into more of a new metal-ish hardcore, even hardcore type sound. Shorter songs, shorter compositions, not verse, chorus, verse, all that sort of bullshit. Not a long 5 minute song. It was all 3 minute bangers on More Things Change. Another band coming out, which solidifies that really heavy low end of what was popular at the time.
Yeah, and to me there too, I think Roadrunner kind of cements themselves as like a prominent label in this year as well.
Yes, yes. This is where Roadrunner between this and what year did Team Manufacturer come out? Was it 94 or 95?
95.
Five. And then on the back of that was Nail Bomb,
Yep.
right? And then on the back of that was Roots, and on the back of that was Soulfly. So yeah, this is Roadrunner. I'm waiting for that dude to do that Roadrunner documentary because I really want to watch it. I think it's gonna be pretty good.
Oh yeah, that is coming out. That's right. You're right.
He keeps popping up everywhere. So while you've got these newer, heavier bands doing this quote unquote groove metal thing, we can still look at the big four. So you Megadeth in '94 puts out Euthanasia, which I went back the other day after listening to that Dave Mustaine episode, which by the way, I didn't realize that Dave Mustaine wrote all of Megadeth, half of Metallica, and most of the Sugar's catalog. I didn't realize that. I went back and I listened through Rusted. I listened to Peace Cells, Rust in Peace, Countdown to Extinction, Euthanasia. And if you go in that order, you see them getting more and more and more commercially friendly, right? The songs are all 3.5 minutes. Hello, me, meet the real me. Terrible song lyrics. They're getting more commercially viable. So I know Dave Mustaine loves to complain about Risk, which is the worst Megadeth album ever created. I wish they could unmaster that thing. But they were on a trajectory anyway. Same year, '94, Slayer puts out Divine Intervention. So at this point, David Lombardo leaves. Paul Bostaff, drums for them.
Oh, staff works for me.
And then they basically said, yeah, fuck the slow, heavy stuff. We're just going to blast. And they blast through the entire album. And as someone who likes the faster, heavier stuff, I was like, yeah, this I get into. Never really liked South of Heaven. Don't at me. Never really liked South of Heaven. This album was great.
I kind of like South of Heaven actually.
You know what? We should probably do like a delve into the Slayer, do a couple of Slayer catalog, just random dives. Because even like Undisputed Attitude, the covers album is good. Uh, they always managed. I mean, R.I.P. to Jeff Hanneman, but Hanneman, they always had at least 3 or 4 or 5 songs on the album that you're like, yo, this is good.
Yeah,
Skip and play.
and I'm famous for saying I'm not the biggest Slayer fan, but I do like a lot of their stuff. Like, don't get me wrong, like I'm not like like Metallica, I'm like, yeah, whatever. But like
I don't know,
Slayer,
dude.
I can
The
dig Slayer.
the Metallica Sirius channel is great.
I heard you say that
It's
the other day.
great because they'll mix in live recordings. They'll mix in. They play the deep cuts, the covers, the B sides. Which the other day I'm pretty sure I heard Bread Fan the other day, and I was like, "Wow, holy shit! I haven't heard this song in ages."
Well, dude, I mean, they're basically oldies at this fucking point.
I
So
know, right? How fucking scary is
it's
that to think about?
crazy, dude. What is oldies considered? Is it after 30 or 40 years?
I think it's 30.
So yeah, they're basically oldies right now. I
Yeah.
mean, you think about it, 414, 24. Everything we're talking about right now is oldies. Like they should have a channel
Oh man.
just oldies and it's just old school fucking metal stuff. Okay, here you go. This is a gem from 1994 and on comes fucking Blind.
Right, and you're sitting there going, I'm sitting there going, I was in high school. Like, what do you mean it's oldie? Yeah. All right, so last of the big four-ish, big four, Jason Testament releases Low in '94.
Oh,
Again, and
fucking love that record.
Testament's very hit or miss for me. There's
That's a
some
great record.
there's some stuff of theirs I really like. Love Souls of Black. But some of the other stuff,
Yeah.
it's like, eh. But I mean, I will say this, credit where credit's due. we did meet Chuck Billy outside the Pantera concert. Real nice
Oh
dude.
yeah.
Took pictures with everybody. And Alex Skolnick is an amazing guitarist, and there's nobody can take that away from him at all.
Yo,
At all.
speaking of meeting him, that was absolutely hilarious. It's just a bunch of metalheads in a parking lot, half shit faced,
Drinking beer and
and this dude walks out of a car next to us, literally parks next to us, and everyone goes, "Wait a minute,
yeah,
fucking like,
right.
wait, holy shit!" And the dude's just like, "Yo, what's up, man?" Taking
Yeah, he
pictures
was real
of everybody.
friendly and shook everybody's hand, took pictures of everybody he wanted to. That was awesome. Like that
Yeah,
was awesome.
I totally forgot about that.
Well, at first I thought he was. You said Slayer, and the first thing I thought it was. I thought it was Gary King at first. Not Gary King. What's his name?
Oh,
Tom Araya.
Tom Rott.
All right.
Yeah, that was
So
hilarious. Yeah.
my bad. Good thing I didn't say that out loud. Tom, I loved you on Seasons of the Abyss. All right. So now we're gonna swing across the ocean. So in '94, you're actually looking at the second wave of black metal. Right. So this is the second wave of Norwegian black metal. But this is the year where everybody goes a little, pardon the I think the actual scientific term is fucking nuts. Right.
Yeah.
So you have um Varg Vikernes, Burzum is convicted of killing Euronymous of Mayhem. There were church arsons. Uh Mayhem released Dom De Mysteris, Dom Sathanas,
Great record.
which is kind of wild. This emperor in the night side eclipse, Dark Throne
Great
did
record.
Transylvanian Hunger. So this is that groove metal of Pantera mixed with that weird experimental sort of black metal stuff. Cradle of Filth's first album,
Oh yeah.
The Principle of Evil Made Flesh. This comes out in '94, which is black metal with a little bit of the symphonic stuff that you see now in things like Arch Enemy and things like Slowpeth. I shouldn't say Opeth, and a bunch of that stuff.
Okay.
So again, it's moving. It takes this extreme black metal sound and it moves it out and around. It's not just the Cleary. I want to listen to it if it's recorded on a boombox in someone's shed, right?
Someone's
Um,
bathroom that only has drywall studs in it.
yes, right. Um, so, but the other thing, so we're talking about the Norwegian black metal, right? And the second wave of black metal. We are also starting to see this is where melodic death metal, the Gothenburg sound starts to come into its own. So you've got At the Gates, Terminal Spirit Disease comes out in '94. You've
Which is
got
highly underrated.
well, everybody goes to Slaughter of the Soul.
Yeah, which is stupid because that record's really good, man.
Yeah, yeah. And Lunar Strain by In Flames,
Which isn't
right?
bad at all either.
No, no. So these are bands that are playing quote unquote death metal, but they bring a little bit of a light touch technicality to it, true musicianship. So this is where metal is kind of nobody can define it at this point because there's so many bands playing in the pond that says, if metal come in here. We just talked about groove, we talked about death, we talked about black metal. So here we go. '94 is Downward Spiral.
Yep.
So industrial. Marilyn Manson right on his heels, right, with Portrait of American Family. So this is the industrial side. Again, we're all playing in the quote unquote metal. And in '94, if I remember correctly, Tim, keep me honest, you didn't have as much over genreification as we do now, where everybody's trying to pigeonhole something in a little piece. It was really just like, yeah, it's all metal. Kind of
Yeah,
do it.
and the cool thing about back then, it's just like all them bands, like these days, everything like I think you were kind of getting at this, and you kind of already said it, but these days, like metalcore, metal, hardcore, death metal, slam, they all kind of combine together.
Yes, it was
Back
just,
then,
yeah.
there was actual genres where it was like, yeah, I know this kind of like this kind of sounds weird because of the way we said it before, but like you had Manson who was in his own lane, kind of with Nine Inch Nails. Well, I would say it was Nine Inch Nails in their own lane with Manson.
Yes, yes. The nothing bands were all moving in that same trajectory.
Yeah, and then you had bands like In Flames that they were considered death metal, which we'll say, yeah, we'll say that.
Yeah.
And then you had bands like Pantera, Testament, all that. That oh hey, that's just heavy metal. Then you had the rock and all that. But like these days, everything kind of just meshes together. And it's like you said earlier, hey, it's just fucking metal.
Yeah,
But back then, everyone
yeah.
had an identity. You know what I mean?
Right, you were playing to a scene where nowadays you're just playing the music. And well, look,
Exactly.
we've talked about this. Bands like Sanguisugabogg, bands like Vomit Forth, bands that are, you got
Yeah.
hardcore kids playing metal, you got metal kids playing hardcore.
This is what I was going to say too, not to cut you off. But before I forget, if you went to a Manson show in '94 and then the next week you went to a In Flames show, you ain't seeing the same fucking people at them shows.
Mm-mm.
You go to a show these days, if Demu Borger plays Philly tomorrow, and then 2 days later,
Hatebreed plays.
April plays, you're going to see the same people.
Yes, yes.
Back then, it was a completely different crowd. Back then, everyone hated each other. It's like, oh, them fucking goth kids, fuck
Yeah,
them.
it's totally different. It's like, yo, I'm just here for a show. I'm just here for a show.
Oh, them hardcore kids, fuck them. So, like, if a hardcore kid goes to a Pantera show back then, it's just like, you know what I mean? Fuck you.
Yeah, which I
These
never
days,
made
it's
much
all the, yeah,
never made much sense to me because it's all just I looked at it as we're all one big family of shit that's not on the radio.
yeah.
Shit that normies don't listen to. That's always been the way I've thought of it. And I don't know. I mean, I listening to Earth Crisis back to back with Slipknot, back to back with E Town Concrete, back to back with The Cure, to me was just like, whatever.
Imagine being a ticket. Imagine working at Macy's in '94 and being a ticket master girl that sells you the tickets that prints them out for you.
Dude, I
And
went to
people that
Boscov's.
come in, Boscov's,
I
yeah.
went to Boscov's and bought tickets to Neurosis, and the woman, this poor like 50-year-old woman behind the counter went, "Excuse me, what show? Neurosis, uh, neurosis, yes."
Yeah. Spell it.
And then the ticket is like Neurosis, Unsane, Dillinger Escape Plan, Coalesce, Nile. It's like,
Dude, that used to happen all the time. You would go there and be like, yeah, I'm looking for tickets for Marilyn Manson. They'd be like,
yeah,
is your mom here?
yeah, exactly.
Like
All
these,
right,
these
so
kids have no clue what it is to buy shit online or buy things
and
in the
never have to talk to people. Yeah.
yeah.
It's something else. All right, so now let's talk about the industry, right? The record industry at the time, and then what the critical responses to some of this stuff. So too much beer. Now we're looking for the next big thing. You've got all these little bands, little scenes popping up, and you have so the distributor is Epic, and you have the label is Immortal, and Epic takes a big flyer with Epic in '94 and they release the Korn self-titled album, which at this point, this sound was so far removed from grunge, heavy metal, grunge, hair metal, and whatever the hell else was going on that I am really surprised that they took a flyer on it. I really am. So the album Korn comes out on October 11th, 94. Village Voice, LA Times, both shit on it. They said it was musical bastardization. What a fucking what a jeez, what a qualifier there.
And I
But
bet you the fucking people that said that are either not in the industry anymore or got blown out of there 2 years later because you know what? It's almost 2026 and Corn is still alive and kicking.
uh,
Probably as big right now.
Corn, Limp Bizkit, Deftones bigger than they've ever been.
Yeah.
Marilyn Manson still touring. Nine Inch Nails just did a massive arena tour. So
And they just announced another one for next year.
yeah, yeah. So that it was out there. So yeah. So apparently, when we did our homework, so the metal critics were looking for either people who are great at their instruments, virtuosos, which is like your In Flames and your stuff, and then you have defined song structures. And Korn comes out with drop tune 7 strings, right? It's all rhythm. It's all the rhythm section is it's all groove laden, and the sing the chorus, scream the verse, and that was a total upheaval of what critics and what people were actually looking for and used to at the time. So, I mean, I remember it coming out and going, the word I could think of to use at the time was authentic, in the sense of, man, this isn't some A&R hot shot trying to find the next thing. He was like, yo, these guys from California, they're all kind of weird. And they're playing Steve Vai seven strings, but instead of
Yeah.
using it to do solos, they drop the low string. And okay, well
I
let's
don't
try it.
even. I don't. Yeah, they did. Yeah, they did drop it. It was down a half step.
Yes. Yeah. But
They did.
remember, when that guitar came out with Steve Vai, it was Passion and Warfare. And it was for him to and do some crazy
Yeah.
noodling. They went the other way and said, no, we're going down into the basement, right? Um,
Yeah, I
I
think instead of BEA, it was ADG. Yeah, yeah, I'm pretty
yeah,
sure.
yeah. And so and this album comes out, and I mean they played Rutgers University. Like I didn't see them at Rutgers. The first time I saw them on tour, they opened for 311.
Oh, yeah, that's wild. We talked about
311 Corn and
that.
Monster Magnet, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, this was something totally different. I can't believe a major record label even took a chance on it. And they were starting a new genre they didn't even realize until probably Follow the Leader was when people realized that, oh, these guys created a whole thing.
Yeah, there was an interview I seen on YouTube like 4 days ago. Fieldy or not Fieldy, Monkey and why
Head,
am and
head.
Head just put out a new Ibanez guitar, and they were talking about how like Steve Vai, the seven string, like how they all got into that. And so it was actually really cool. It was like 15 minutes. But it was really cool. But they were saying in there like, dude, like when we picked that up, it just like opened up a whole new world to have that other string. Everything was just fucking heavy, and like I was just like, yeah, this is real. Like I knew that, but like it was really cool to see them like
To
show,
hear them talk about it.
yeah,
Yeah.
hear them talk about it, and like because that's like an interview me and you would do. Like, hey man, like talk to us about picking that seven string up because if they wrote them songs at six, I don't even think they're a band still.
No, no, no,
You know what I mean?
no.
Like if you took the riffs that they do right now and you took the tabs and you just played it on a six string in standard, it would sound so fucking strange.
Yeah, it would. It would. You know what? There's probably a YouTube video of somebody doing it. We should probably find it.
And you're
But
probably
it,
100% correct.
so to that point, right? Us, that would be the question that we would ask them. Like, yo, what was it like when you guys picked that thing up? And went, holy shit, look what we could do with this. Same interview, not same interview, same type of question. We get Raymond Herrera from Fear Factory on. I would
Oh
love to
yeah.
ask him, yo, what was it like doing those double kicks so clean with a not overproduced but a beautiful tone as opposed to like look, I love Cannibal Corpse and Berserker and that sort. Berserker was a drum machine, all that stuff's a drum machine. Cannibal Corpse, I mean, it was kind of sloppy, um, but they were playing at speed, blasting, and you influenced an entire generation of drummers.
Oh yeah.
So
People told
speaking
me that.
speaking of that, Tim, think about it. Three of the albums that came out this year, three debut albums that came out in 1994, which critics didn't really weren't big fans of, were Korn's self-titled, Burn My Eyes by Machine Head, and Cradle of Filth's first album. If you think about it, those three albums influenced the next 10 to 15 years of music
100%.
trends,
100%.
which
Because
is
Cradle,
insane.
because obviously Cradle's not the first black metal band, but like they definitely influenced a shitload of bands after that.
Yes. Yes. There are plenty of bands that even if they will admit it or not, they pulled from what they heard from them.
What label did that first Cradle come out on?
I
Was
don't
it,
know. Let's see here.
I think it's I don't want to say the wrong one. You're gonna say it, and I'm gonna be like, oh yeah,
Cacophonous Records.
there you go.
That's a mouthful, man. That's a hell of a record label name.
I'm
Uh
I'm pretty sure that was a UK label.
let's see.
Yeah, because Cradle's from the UK, right?
Yes.
Yeah, they are. Because then they went to oh fuck, man, I forget.
Music for Nations.
There you go. And Music for Nations put out a shitload of stuff after that.
Yeah, well, their debut album for Music for Nations is Dusk in Her Embrace,
Yeah,
which is
a great record.
this is the album that catapult some Scotty. So so let's talk about this, right? So pre 1994, you have your proto new metal stuff. So this is we talk. I mean, everybody goes back to Anthrax and I'm the Man or Attack of the Killer Bees, Rage Against the Machine, Faith No More. So, but there were, I mean, you could argue stuff like Helmet. I forget when the Lungs album came out. Plastique on Raucous Records. Um, there was a lot of different bands doing a lot of different stuff at that point, and they just happened to be one of the ones that got picked up.
Yeah.
And so here we go. I can tell you my homework. Let's see here. So seven strings, they were tuned to B standard or lower.
Yeah.
That is fucking low.
Yeah. B
Uh,
standard is B. It's basically standard six with a top with the B at low
right.
B.
I mean, if you also think about some of the things they did with almost with the bass as well, it was not power chords or notes or whatever. It was sounds. It was tones. It was
Laughing at
more. What's what we're looking for here? It was more textural
it.
than it was like note for note. Like when I think about it, the other example I'll give is Todd Weinstock stuff on Worship and Tribute by Glassjaw.
Yeah.
So you have Justin Beck playing the guitar, like the notes and stuff. But Todd was always doing some weird noodly notes type stuff, note sound shit, which actually set that album off and made it really really wild. So they're playing drop tune seven strings made for Steve Vai. Your bassist is treating the bass as a percussion instrument, not as an actual string instrument. Um, not for nothing. Those isolated fieldy tracks though, like if they ever had bass tryouts, they ever had bassist tryouts for Korn to tour. I'm pretty sure one of my dogs could get the gig. Okay.
It's funny you say that because I seen a video of him showing his tone one day, and I was just like, it's not that good, but in the
Mm-hmm.
mix, it's good. You know what I mean?
Right. By itself, it's trash. When you mix it with the guitars, the drums, and Jonathan's voice, it actually it fits. And that was the other thing that was so different about Korn that I really can't believe a major signed them. Right. His Jonathan Davis's vocal delivery, like he cries, he croons, he moans, he screams, he scats, he yells. I mean, it's not what you
Like
would
the
expect.
tortured. He was like tortured.
Yeah. And it's not what you expect from a traditional aggressive band. Like you don't expect the dude crying in the booth at the end of the album, but Daddy comes on and here we are.
Well, I mean, when you get plants and shit thrown at your head when you're trying to do it, I mean, it kind of like gonna fuck you
Yeah.
up.
Yeah.
Is
So
that what you did, or was that Slipknot where he's throwing plants at them?
I think he just harassed everybody. So thank you, Tim, for the segue. That was not planned. We can't talk about Korn and we can't talk about their 1994 album without talking about Ross Robinson, right? So this is the first big album that he does. Those of you that are familiar may not be familiar with the lore. He actually produced Fear Factory's Concrete EP and then basically took it and used it to get himself a job as a producer, even though they never released it until I think it was after Archetype they finally released it.
Yeah, that came out way
It was way late when Roadrunner was scraping the sides of the archives to try and find shit to release. But yeah, the uh Korn ends up killing off grunge, but at the same time, they become grunge's successor. So they you always become the thing you hate the most.
after.
And they killed it off, and then they created the environment for the replacement, which is kind of funny. But I mean, we've talked about Ross. Ross, we did a whole deep dive on everything he's done: Slipknot, Deftones, Sepultura. I mean, he did that one Snot song, which is the best song they've ever done. And then the dude went on to the Blood Brothers and at the Drive-In, and then he's been all over the place. And the Unquestionable Truth. I really hope Limp Bizkit has him for their newest album. That'd be kind of wild. So yeah, man, 94, right? So your big releases in 94, just to recap, right? I mean, this is a year where everything's going nuts and the record labels are just trying everything to see what will fit. And I don't know if we get that same luxury these days if things didn't go so well, but you have Far Beyond Driven, you have Korn self-titled, you have Mayhem, Dave Mysterious, Dom Sathanis, you have Machine Head, Burn My Eyes, Emperor, in the Night Side Eclipse, Dream Theater put out an album that year. I forgot. Awake. At the Gates, Terminal Spirit Disease, and then you had the death of glam and hair metal with Motley Crue's self-titled. So
Didn't Nine Inch Nails put out
Downward Spiral.
Downward Spiral? Yeah.
Downward Spiral was 94. Portrait of American Family was 94. Marilyn Manson. I mean, there's tons more, but this is the ones I just rattled off are a pretty decent cross section of all the different stuff that was all major label signed out there. It was in Best Buy. It was in Sam Goody's. God, you want to talk about a dated reference. And this was the thing out there that Tower Records. Did you ever watch that documentary on Tower Records? It was
Mhm.
really good. It was really, really good. But this is the stuff that was out there that was in your big name, big box CD and music stores. And
Yeah.
I don't know if labels these days with the current climate would have the balls to do some of this stuff and just say, I don't know, let's put this out and see what happens.
I wish I mean we have talked about this where like the wall stickers and stuff, but there's definitely records that came out in '94 that have a wall sticker on it for sure.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
We should call the owner of the wall, whoever owns that right. Be like, hey man, this CD just broke. This is lifetime. I need you to send me one.
Click.
Yeah.
Click. It's kind of wild. But I mean, so this is the first year. This is the inaugural year of nu metal. This is Pantera coming into their own and establishing themselves as a force. Like they were well regarded before this album. This album blows them up. This album blows up Nine Inch Nails. The Woodstock 94 performance will go down in history as
Oh
one of
yeah,
the
yeah,
most amazing standalone performances by a band in history.
absolutely,
I mean,
dude. That video is crazy to
I
this
had
day. So,
three different bootlegs of that performance, and just the whole. They come out to Pinion and it's slowing down, and as it's slowing down, you see Trent Reznor crawling out covered in mud. It's like, what is this?
dude, iconic stuff right there, man.
Yes, yes. I mean, and the tour and the album wasn't even out yet at that point.
Yeah,
And the tour, the first tour they did off that album, they played, I think it was like Poughkeepsie, New York or something,
yeah.
some weird place.
It was definitely weird stuff.
The
Didn't they play
sec
the vet?
well, this and the second lap after they blew up the March of the Pigs, all the pigs all lined up, 94. This is them playing arenas. So they
Yeah.
literally went from like clubs to arenas. Here we go. The downward
So arena for
spiral.
us would have been the Spectrum back then.
The downward spiral. Here we go. And then self-destruct tour.
Oh, Self Destructor. That's right.
Right. So um it starts with the first run is that was his warm up. So they're doing like Hollywood Palace. They're playing the Riviera Theater, the Agora in Cleveland, Webster Hall, the Roseland. They played the Tower Theater May 15th, 1994.
Wow. And
So think
most
about
of
it.
these places are still open.
Yeah, the Tower, and then leg two, right? So this is the second leg. What are they playing the second leg? They're playing the Riverside Theater in Milwaukee. They're playing Memorial Hall in Kansas City. The Arco Arena in Sacto. They're playing the San Jose Auditorium. They're playing the Universal Amphitheater for 4 nights in a row in LA. They're doing the Coliseum in Phoenix. They're doing the Convention Center in Oakland. They're doing the Delta Center in Salt Lake. This is oh my god! Like look at the Expo Hall in Tampa. This was huge. 3 nights in Madison Square Garden. They played the Spectrum,
Yeah.
right? So Montreal, back in New York City at Nassau Coliseum with Adam Ant. I have that bootleg. It's a fantastic bootleg. And then they ended in New Orleans. My God, dude, they played how many dates was this?
Well, back then, New Orleans was his home state,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. And this was Jim Rose. The support was, I think, Hole started out as the tour, then they dropped off. But it was Jim Rose Circus Sideshow, Marilyn Manson, the Melvins, and Pee Wee.
Oh, Pee
That
Wee.
is Papa Lead itself.
Oh, yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, that's
Which,
right.
by the way, we could definitely do a deep dive into Two Fingers, My Friend. So Dos Dados and then Two Fingers, My Friends. Did we talked about it as part of Nothing, right? Yeah, the Nothing album. Uh, but again, this is 94. I mean, dude, I told that story. I went and saw this. Me and like six of my friends went into Madison Square Garden, and it was the night that they got into a car accident and they couldn't play. So Robin Fink broke his finger because the bus was hit. So we get there, we get in the seats for them to announce that the show is canceled. They're playing the next night. And I skipped basketball practice or whatever. And the next day I'm like, Mom, I can't go to school. Like the show is tomorrow and I paid, I want to go. She's like, yeah, just stay home from school, whatever. So I didn't have to go to practice or whatever. But yeah, it was, man, it was wild. Who played guitar for them? I think it was their guitar tech, which I think was Billy Howardell from A Perfect Circle, played that night.
Didn't didn't Robert Patrick play on that tour though?
No, he dropped off after Broken,
Okay.
and he did Filter. So here we go. Robin Fink, Broken Finger replace.
I could have swore Robert Patrick was on that tour though. Did he do
Uh
that self destruct tour?
I don't think so.
He wasn't on that Woodstock show either.
No, he definitely wasn't on Woodstock.
Man, I got my years messed up for him.
Yeah, yes, Madison Square Garden, December 7th, 94, and it got postponed to December 8th because the bus got hit and his finger got broken. And they had I'm trying to find who it was. I think it was Josh Freese to fill
Oh,
in.
okay.
But yeah, it was wild. It was
What finger was broken that he couldn't play guitar? I
I
mean,
think it was the ring finger on his, not his picking hand.
oh, well, he can still play guitar like that. I used to play. I broke my foot one day and I was playing double kick still at shows.
Jesus. Um yeah, so 94, right? I mean, this is the inaugural year of nu metal. This is where it all starts, even though we didn't realize it at the time. Everything was kind of wild. Everything was in play, and the labels were just grasping for relevance, trying to find something that worked. And we as fans were lucky because there was a bunch of stuff that did work. So what do you think, Tim?
I listen, man. From talking about this, I'm gonna start it here because I this is we're gonna end it here in a shortly. I think that this was an awesome idea that we came up because this was a super enjoyable episode to talk about because I think with going back and talking about all this stuff, it makes you realize how big 1994 was, honestly.
It's huge.
Huge year
Huge.
for metal, for music, honestly. Because I am one of them people. I think that the 90s is the best decade of music of all time.
The apex of human history is 1999, but we'll talk about that in a different show. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that the 90s is literally the best year for hip hop or the best decade for hip hop, metal, rock, all of it. I literally think the 90s is the epitome of music for right now. If you were born in the 80s, 90s, you literally were lived through the two best decades of music because the 80s was amazing too.
Yes, this was the highlight of humanity, right? And then 9/11 happens and everything just goes to shit.
Yeah, I mean, I was born in 83. Obviously, I don't know anything. I was 7 by the time the 1990 comes, whatever. But like the 90s, dude, when you go back and look at it, man, just so many seminal records, so many just great fucking bands and genres. Just an amazing genre or
Hmm.
amazing, absolutely amazing decade for music. There will never be a better decade. I don't care what anyone says. But it just solidifies it right here with 94, with how many good records and bands came out. And I think this was the perfect year to start on this.
I agree 100%. This was a fun experience. The homework was a lot of work. I'm not gonna lie, but
Yeah.
we did our homework, and we hope everybody enjoys it. If you want to see more, let us know. And with what Tim said, I'm just gonna take us home. New episodes every Wednesday at 12 p.m. Reaction videos every Friday at 12 p.m. New Breed underscore podcast, Twitter and Instagram, newbreedpodcast at gmail.com, 267-297-4627 for your voicemails. Thanks for tuning in, watching, listening if you're audio only. We'll see you next week. Cheers.